Hey, Wolf over here at Host Magi. All right, so I'm going to start this video by saying very clearly that the opinions and viewpoints reflected in this video are mine and mine alone. Okay, they do not belong to anyone else. They don't represent the whole of Host Magi. They don't represent my whole team's opinions. Um, I they are my opinions and only mine. And I understand that this video will very likely end me up on the growing list of people who have been banned from the Automattic and WordPress uh, contribution channels and whatnot. Um, that sucks, but it is what it is. I feel a need to make this video today. So today, this video is basically about the uh, big battle going on between Automattic / Matt Mullenweg versus WP Engine. So when this, I'm not going to go into the big description of what that is, simply because there's enough content out there. You can do a quick search on the internet and find tons of articles and videos and whatnot about this issue that is going on, this big drama that's going on. So that's not what this is. I'm not going to go into big details about it. That being said, I want to give my viewpoints and my opinions about it. Now, when this first broke out in September, I made a concentrated effort to kind of keep my mouth out of it and not to get involved directly. Uh, as somebody who makes a living on WordPress, however, seeing the things that have happened recently and the way this thing has progressed, I've come to a point where I don't feel comfortable not saying anything anymore. I feel like I have a sort of community obligation to put my thoughts out there in a way, I guess. Um, and a lot of what I'm about to say is probably going to tick a lot of people off, but it is what it is. Um, so when this first blew up in September of 2024, for the most part, I agreed with Matt. I was on his side in terms of WP Engine being in violation of trademark and in terms of WP Engine having should be more contributory to the WordPress community. The idea that they are not contributing their fair share. I'm in total agreement with that. However, a couple of caveats on both of these. First of all, let's look at the trademark. I'm not a trademark attorney. I'm not an attorney at all. But as somebody who makes a living on WordPress, has been involved in the WordPress community for nearly 20 years now, uh, I kind of have a general understanding of how the trademark works and how to make sure that we're not violating it and whatnot. So it's that experience that allows me to say that I do feel like at the time WP Engine was in fact in violation of the WordPress trademarks. However, since that time, they have worked really hard to change that. I would have loved to have seen them publicly admit that they had done so, whether intentionally or accidentally. But I would love to have seen them admit that. But what really matters to me is the fact that they have worked to change that. If you compare the website that they had up in August of last year to the one that they have today as of January 13th, 2025, you'll see the changes and you'll see that the violations that they had in the trademark back then no longer exist. So kudos to them for fixing that. As far as their contributions, I haven't seen any evidence that they've uh, upped their contributions since then. I don't know if they have or haven't, but the bottom line is they don't really have any kind of legal obligation to do so. Um, the GPL does not have a participation requirement. In other words, what I mean by that is the GPL doesn't require companies or anyone who benefits off the use of a open source project to contribute back to that community. It is a personal decision that needs to be made by that company or by that individual. And to say that they have to is wrong, is not correct. That being said, I also feel like if you benefit off of it, I think you do have a moral and ethical obligation to give back to the community in whatever way seems appropriate to you. But you do have a moral and ethical obligation, in my viewpoint. However, what Matt tried to do was basically a pay to play scenario, which is an absolute violation of the spirit of the GPL and the letter of the GPL. By saying that if WP Engine didn't up their contributions either financially, through time, or both, then they would be cut off and would not be able to participate, et cetera, et cetera. And that is a direct violation of the GPL because, again, you cannot make that requirement under the terms of the GPL. Again, I think it's okay to pressure a company, to an extent, and to, encourage people to participate and give back when they're benefiting from it, especially when they're making millions of dollars a year on it. But to say that they're required to is just plain wrong and incorrect. So that is kind of where I had the problem with what Matt did. Um, so yes, while I agreed with his viewpoints for the most part, I completely disagreed with his methods and how he did it. And what has made me, want to make this video today is the fact that it has gone so much further since then and has gotten so much worse. Um, Matt has crossed lines like big time, and um, you know, I'm gonna use the terms Automattic, or the names Automattic and Matt Mullenweg interchangeably because to me they're one and the same. All right, they're the voice of each other, so to speak. They are the same thing essentially, in my opinion. So I will be using those interchangeably. So when I'm mentioning one, just understand that I'm mentioning both. Okay. Um, but a few recent things have happened and in this development that have really started to upset me. And honestly, I feel like this stuff needs to be addressed. So um, while these viewpoints and opinions may get me banned, they may get people pissed off at me. It is what it is. So first of all, one of the most recent things, uh, last week, Automattic released a statement, basically saying that they're going to cut their contributions down to WP Engine levels. And they released this whole statement about it that made them try to sound like the victims, like they're being picked on by WP Engine and they're just a bully in the market and yada yada. And it's simply not true or not accurate. And um, you know, I'm okay with if Automatic wants to reduce their contributions. That's within their rights to do. I don't think they should because again, they make millions of dollars a year off of the WordPress.org uh, community. But that being said, again, the GPL doesn't have a participation requirement. So if that's what you want to do, that's well within your legal right to do so. Go ahead, take away your contributions. You're allowed to do that. Um, so, but the problem with it is that now you're basically doing the sort of two wrongs make a right kind of concept. You're basically doing exactly what you are accusing WP Engine of doing by not contributing enough, and I think this is even worse for Automattic simply because Automattic and Matt is sort of the who have been basically the arbiters of this community for so long. I feel like they have a higher obligation to uphold a certain standard and to lead by example. And what they're doing is not leading by example, is not a good example to set. So I absolutely think they're wrong for this in that sense. But again, it's well within their legal right to do so. So if that's what they want to do, so be it. Um, the other thing is they've started kicking people off of their communities because they don't agree with Matt or what Automattic is doing or anything like that. Um, some of the top contributors in the community have been kicked out by Automattic and Matt because they hinted at maybe doing a fork of WordPress. Uh, The irony of this is that Matt then went on and said that he fully supports them doing a fork. So he fully supports the GPL and people's right to take it and do what they want with it, yada. But then turns around in the next breath and says and kicks them out. And he makes these BS claims that he's doing this to help them and encourage them to do their fork. I'm sorry, Matt. That's a load of crap, and you know it. All right. You're not doing it for their betterment. You're doing it to try and punish them. But I think what you need to realize, and maybe would be wise for you to think about, is, and I know this is probably going to get me in trouble. There's going to be people who hate me for saying this, but Matt, Automattic, this community doesn't need you. I'll say it again. We don't need you. Here's what I mean by that. WordPress is the largest, most successful open source community in the history of open source software. We have thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people who contribute to WordPress on a regular basis. This includes individual people all the way up to major corporations. So this community has everything it needs to survive and thrive with or without Automattic and Matt Mullenweg. Now, I don't want to see anybody kicked out of the community. I think this community, one of the things that has made this community what it is its openness and its ability to accept anyone and everyone. And to allow anyone who wanted to be a part of it to be a part of it. That is what has made this community so great and why this community has grown to what it is. But to say that we need you in order to survive, you're mistaken, bro. We don't need you. Okay? We welcome you if you want to participate correctly, but we don't need you here. I don't want to downplay Matt or Automattic's contributions to the community. What they have given to the community, look, there's two statements that are both contradictory and true. One, WordPress would not be what it is today without Automattic or Matt Mullenweg. Two, WordPress would not be what it is today without the community. So, we kind of have worked off of each other and we've grown together. But there comes a time when a relationship is just so toxic when maybe the best thing to do is to end that relationship. I don't know if that's the right thing here. I don't know if that's the direction this needs to go. What I do know is that this childish, take my toys and go home because you're not playing the way I want to, bullcrap needs to end. What I do know is that this community, WordPress, is going to survive this. And it's going to continue to thrive, grow, and innovate because the size of this community, the sheer size of this community, and the sheer amount of people willing to contribute and willing to give wholeheartedly to this community will help it do so. That's what this community is about. It is about coming together and giving so that we can all benefit. And I feel like that vision has been lost by Matt and Automattic and some other people in the community as well. On both sides, by the way. Not just the Automattic side, but also on the other side. A lot of people have lost the view and forgotten what this is all about. And I hope that we can get that back. I hope that we can return to the values of WordPress. If that means making a fork of WordPress and redoing something, so be it. If that means changing the leadership, so be it. If that means finding some mutual agreement, which is what I hope we do, then great. But bottom line is that this is a community of people who are passionate about this project. People who live, eat, and breathe this project, myself included. WordPress is my lifeblood, and is the lifeblood of thousands and thousands and thousands of people all over the world. WordPress is not going to be killed by this. We may see a little bit of temporary short-term damage because of this, but we'll overcome it because that's what this community does. So I'm going to close this with hope that this thing can blow over quickly and that something can be agreed to, that some kind of solution can be found to this battle, and that pride can be let go of, and we can just get back to the spirit of the GPL and the spirit of the WordPress community. Until next time, thank you.